That's a great question. I think, look, it tends to vary. It varies dependent on a particular lender's focus, perhaps where they're experiencing more challenges than others. Generally speaking, I'd say predominantly we find ourselves talking about the broker experience, right? How can we enhance and improve that? How can we simplify that as well from a broker perspective? I think you have to remember that a lot of these lenders will consider brokers themselves to be customers. So that's very important. That comes up a lot. I think with sort of the change in economic climate, what we're also finding is a real focus on being able to offer sort of bespoke products and pricing. And I think from a technology perspective, perhaps lenders have been hindered in the past in their ability to do so. So that often comes up. I think really it all comes back to being able to react to these market conditions and the changes to these market conditions at speed, right? But obviously, we don't want to sacrifice quality and obviously compliance as a result of that focus on speed. But really, it's a big focus on simplification, I think. I think over time, perhaps the mortgage lending process or the application process has become quite cumbersome. And so I think a lot of lenders are looking at ways or exploring ways in which that they can sort of streamline and simplify that for everyone involved, not just the brokers, but for customers and also their internal staff as well. So I think probably the most obvious one is leveraging the power of AI in order to sort of help to facilitate speed within those lending decisions. We're certainly focused heavily on generative AI and how we can use that to enhance the advice provided throughout the process, whether that's to the brokers, to the customer, or indeed to sort of the underwriters themselves. You can't get through a conversation about technology these days in this space without at least mentioning AI. So I think that will be a big focus for us in the coming months, for sure. I love this question. This is my favourite question of the three. Look, I think if we put the customer at the centre, I think customer expectations in terms of their digital experience, whether that's banking, whether that's streaming a movie, whether that's opening an account, there's an expectation of that sort of instant response. And so I think as well, touching on the AI piece as well, the ability to leverage technology to provide those sort of instantaneous experiences, whether that's instant advice, whether that's an instant decision. I think the customer expectation, given their experience with their smartphones, is very much geared towards that kind of instant gratification in terms of a decision. I think something that I found really, really insightful actually was talking about how lenders might use augmented reality and virtual reality. Now, this is a little bit further on, but think of the steps that you have to go through when you're purchasing a home, right? Is there a way that we could use augmented reality to view a property? So perhaps we could do a tour of a property or a tour of a house without actually having to leave our own home. So I think that's one of the ones that I'm most excited about, is seeing how lenders can embed that into the mortgage process.